Hey, it's Erica from alittleinsanity.com. Today we are going to use two of my favorite tools. Well, actually, really one, but we're making two of my favorite things. Now we're making one of my favorite things using one of my favorite tools. It adds up to two somehow. Anyways, we're using my favorite kitchen tool of all times. Seriously, I always joke that if the family were out of the house and there was a fire and I knew everybody else was safe, the one thing I would save was my Vitamix. Can't live without this baby. So you'll need your Vitamix because a regular blender unfortunately just won't do for this recipe. If you want more information about Vitamix, you can go to the side of the website or go back to alittleinsanity.com and find out how you can get one. And because I refer so much business to them, they're giving away free shipping for our customers, again through alittleinsanity.com. Well worth it. It's worth having a garage sale or something to raise the money for this Vitamix. Anyways, there's a lot of background noise going on. My son's playing outside. It's part of the insanity, but it's all good. So today we are going to make what my family calls dirty juice. So bear with me. It's delicious and it's really good for you. Okay, so I briefly want to go over some of the ingredients and tools a little more closely before we get started. One, again, I have my Vitamix. Over here I have all the fruits and vegetables. Yes, you heard me. Fruits and vegetables. And I'm just going to briefly go over what each one is. I have 2 apples, some pineapple, frozen strawberries, a half of a frozen banana. You could use a whole, but I was all out. A pear, a lemon wedge. If you don't have lemon, you can use my favorite, Santa Cruz. It's lemon. It's not concentrated. It's fresh lemon juice, but it's canned. I have 2 different types of kale. I have like a Siberian kale and then the really dark green kale, which is my favorite. I have about 3/4 or maybe about a half of a beet. I know that sounds gross, but it really is good. Trust me on this. A good handful of spinach, a whole carrot chopped up, and just a handful of cabbage. I normally put broccoli in this as well, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 heads, but unfortunately I used the broccoli for my stir-fry recipe, so I'm out. About 1.5 cups of water. And my secret ingredient, which does not have to be, but it does make it slightly more palatable for anybody that's making the transition either into raw foods or just whole foods in general, is all natural, no sugar added, organic Cascadian Farm grape concentrate. Not raw, but delicious and adds really good flavor to the juice. So again, there's our fruits and veggies. So we're going to start with just really, you can start by throwing these things into the Vitamix. I usually save the apples for last, and you'll see why. But you can just go ahead and throw the banana. Hope you can see this. Oops, all the pears. You don't even really need to cut up all this. You just need to make sure that you can fit it. So this is why I cut it up. Otherwise, the Vitamix, you can throw an entire apple in, seeds and all, and it'll blow through it like butter, really, honestly. Trust me on this. Okay, I got some pineapple. I know not everybody lives in Hawaii, so pineapple's not readily at your fingertips. It really makes a nice, sweet addition to the juice, but it's not necessary. You can use oranges, any other really fruit and vegetable that you enjoy, you can throw into this. Okay, lemon goes a long way, so a slice should do you. I usually leave some of this white pith on. It's really, really healthy for you, and you'll never know it's in there. One more strawberry. I got my kale. I'm going to put my beets in there because those really grind up. I cut my beets. I buy my beets when they're in season and I freeze them. And I know some people say you shouldn't freeze your vegetables, but you know what? You got to do what you got to do. And I buy them from a local farm when they're on sale for like 25 cents a bunch. And then I freeze them. And then they're there. I clean them up, freeze them. Pop the carrots in, the cabbage, and you can see it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in my apples, my secret ingredient, which is this organic grape juice concentrate. I probably put, honestly, maybe 3 or 4 tablespoons in, just depends, and again, to taste. We've gotten to the point in our family where we almost don't need the grape juice anymore. You can, we like it as is, but anyways, we're going to go ahead and just spoon in. This is a pretty big spoon, but this is a tablespoon. And just for the sake of the demonstration, I'm going to put in 4. And I take this spoon so I don't waste any of that goodness, and I just stir it into 1.5 cups water. Sorry about the noise in the background, but what are you going to do? And I just dump that in over the top. Okay? I have my lid. I'm going to take out the cap. and I'm going to snap the lid on. I'm going to take my tamper. Now, this machine is what you're going to find in Starbucks, in Jamba Juice, in any of the commercial kitchens and all the bars and restaurants. It's restaurant quality, but it's designed for home use. Seriously, I pull out my Vitamix 3 or 4 or 5 times per day. So I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to come back. We're going to make juice. I'm going to go see what all that crashing was in the background, and I'll be back in just a minute. One of the important things that I want to go over about the Vitamix is the dials and how to use them appropriately, especially with juice. You don't want to just start out on the highest. You want to gradually turn your way up. So this is the power. Now let me just give you a word of warning, because I've learned the hard way. If this button, this is the high button, is flipped up, you may end up with juice on your ceiling. It's very important that you make sure this button is down, that this is turned down to 1, and that this is turned off. And this is plugged in. You're going to put the tamper up towards the top, just in case. Nothing should fly out, but just in case. But this is one powerful little bugger. You may not even need the tamper, depending on if your fruits and vegetables are frozen or soft or hard, etc. But I always like to use it to make sure it's stirred up real well. Okay, we're going to start out on low. It's going to get noisy. You probably won't be able to hear me. So I'm going to be explaining again really quickly what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip this on. We're going to go from level 1 to level 10, and then flip it on to high. It'll take about a minute to make the juice. So here it goes. Okay, so after about a minute or less of blending this up, I like to drop in, and as you saw before, when I took the tamper out, it shot up all over. Normally you're going to want to wait till you turn the machine off to pull the tamper out, otherwise you can have a little explosion like I did, but that's just part of it all, the fun. Anyways, I just take a tray of ice cubes, and I use about 10 or 12 ice cubes, and I drop them in, and not only does that make the juice a little bit less concentrate, but it makes sure that it stays cold while you're blending it. You don't want, this blade can go so fast that it can make soup in like 5 minutes or less. It can get really hot, and we don't want to destroy any of those good enzymes in this juice. So I like to put ice in to make sure that it stays cool while everything's getting chopped down to the cellular level. This is like drinking juice out of a juicer, kind of, but for the most part, it's unstrained. But it is like drinking juice. You're getting all the extra fiber, and you're getting all the nutrients. You couldn't chew your food this well and get all the nutrients. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and dump in again some ice, almost a whole tray, depending on how diluted I wanted to make it. Okay, so after I added the ice, I let it go on high for about 30 more seconds, and the juice is ready. As you can see, it makes, goodness, more than 64 ounces. It's huge. Plus, once I put it in the cup, if it's too strong, just dilute it a little bit with water. It really won't be any big deal. And I don't know if you can see, but that is all juice. That means all those fruits, all those vegetables, more than your daily allowance in here. And I just poured in a little mason jar. And the rest of the container, and this will keep in the fridge for about 2 days, although fresh juice really should be drinking as soon as possible. This took a little longer for demonstration purposes, but really this whole process from start to finish shouldn't take more, including chopping all your vegetables and fruits, much more than 5 to 10 minutes, and you've got juice. And in Hawaii, it's a little more expensive, but I'm going to say on average this juice should not cost more than $5 to $7 to make. It seems like a lot, but again, we're getting about 2 or 3 days worth of juice, but also our vegetables. So I don't feel guilty if my son has to sit down and eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and he drinks a glass of this, because I know he's getting what he needs. And it sucks up part of our food budget, but again, it's like drinking your salad and your fruits and veggies. I hope that was helpful to you. If you want more information or the full recipe, visit alittleinsanity.com. And if you have any questions, as always, please feel free to ask. Hope you have a great day. God bless. Goodbye.